And welcome back to the Integrated Media Center here on the campus of Geneva College. I'm Chris Matthews, the Sports Information Director, and today we are joined by the Women's Geneva Student Athlete of the Week, Hope Shook, a freshman from the women's volleyball team. I was going back and looking at your last 10 or 11 games. I think you've had double-digit kills in 6 or 7 of your last 11. You're averaging almost 10 kills, so you've been coming on recently, which coincides with some strong play by the team itself. So we do appreciate you stopping by here for just a minute. Tell us how you ended up picking Geneva College.
I really wanted to go to a nice Christian college, and I'd recently just moved back to Pennsylvania from North Carolina, so I wanted to stay closer to home, and Geneva was the best choice for that.
I got you. Now, I know there's a fairly large freshman class, some pretty talented players, and I know coaches kind of been working through rotations and combinations throughout the year to see which ones work best. Kind of from your perspective, how's the year gone, especially as you seem to have really picked up your play recently?
I think as a team, we're starting to finally get to know each other and be able to trust each other. And finally, Coach, I think, has finally picked a rotation. So we're starting to find the balance that we need and trust within each other.
Now, you're an outside hitter, right?
Yes.
Do you play the back row periodically as well? I'm not quite sure.
Sometimes I do, but most of the time, Kayla comes in and plays back row for me.
I got you. Now, you guys have won 4 in a row, including that stretch Saturday. You were at Bethany, where 2 weeks ago you played Bethany here, and they had beaten us pretty easily, or four sets at least. And then you guys crushed them on Saturday down there, I think 14-9 and 25. I mean, it was kind of a blowout. So what was the difference from your perspective, from team's perspective, that allowed you guys to flip that so well?
I think the first time we played them, we weren't as prepared. Going into the second time we were playing them, we had picked a game plan, we knew what we wanted, and we wanted to beat them this time around, so we were a little bit more prepared for what we were expecting.
Well, it was impressive results from this end. I don't know how it was playing. Now, Coach told me recently you got diagnosed with some hearing issues just as you were getting into college. I'm curious how that kind of came about, how that's impacted you here as you played volleyball and academics.
I planned on taking off the spring semester and going into the Army Reserves to just help balance out with a bunch of things. And when I was going through the physical process, I found out that I failed my hearing test, so I had to go to the ear doctor to hopefully get it waived. Well, after some testing, we found out I've lived with genetic hearing loss my whole life. And she thinks it progressively has gotten worse, but so she told me that had happened. So when I first moved in, I had to drive home, pick up hearing aids from the ear doctor, and drive back.
So are you adjusted pretty well? I mean, I assume you probably didn't know any different up until this point.
No, I didn't realize it was as bad as it was until I got hearing aids. So
you're seeing good progress from that. And so then, as you've gotten into your academic side of things here as a freshman, how has that helped? How's classes going in general, and maybe how that's impacted you?
It's helped when I'm in bigger lectures. So my chem lecture is a bigger room, so it helps in those cases. But I still try to sit up front so I can still have more of an advantage.
Gotcha. Classes going pretty well in general, getting adjusted to, because you jump right in not only the academics, but you got volleyball right at the same time, so you got to figure out time management, all that's going pretty well.
Yeah, I think I finally found a good balance between the two in order to get my studying in between games and practices. So
I got you. All right, final 4 quick questions. Just give me the first thing that comes to mind. All right, did you play any other sports growing up besides volleyball?
I played a little bit of basketball, soccer, and softball.
I got you. If you had to have one, would you rather have an 8 a.m. class or a night class? If you had to have one of those.
8 a.m. I'm a big morning person.
Morning person. Good for you. All right. Favorite food station at Alex's? Is there one you're always like, okay, this one I know I can count on to be?
I eat a lot of pizza.
Pizza.
Yes.
I think that's a popular one. And then lastly, what time do you shoot to go to bed each night? Do you have a bedtime you shoot for?
I like to go to bed earlier just because I have 8 a.m., so I have to get up, but I'm usually in bed and asleep before midnight. So.
Okay, well that is very responsible for a college kid. When I was in college, I don't know that always happened, so good for you.
Thank
All
you.
right, well again, congrats, especially over the last few weeks. You've really played well. The
Thank
team
you.
seems to be really coming on here as the season progresses, and see how the final week and playoffs go. So, all right, well thank you for stopping by, Hope.
No problem.
That will do it for this edition of the Student Athlete of the Week. I'm Chris Matthews, joined today by Hope Shook. Until next time, storm on.